I brought my husband a second wife for his 40th birthday. No, don't look at me like that. I'm not a saint, and I'm certainly not a martyr. In Lagos, we don't do things for love, we do them for legacy. I brought her because she was cheap, she was quiet, and most importantly, she was the only one who knew where the bodies were buried. I thought I was buying an insurance policy. I didn't realize I was signing my own death warrant. Her name is Chioma. For 10 years, she was the smell of bleach and the sound of a sweeping broom at 5 a.m. To me, Chioma wasn't a person. She was an appliance, like the microwave or the washing machine. You don't ask the washing machine how its day was, do you? I treated her like dirt because that's what she was paid to clean. I've seen her cry into the sink while washing my designer silk gowns that cost more than her entire village harvest. I'd walk past her, heels clicking on the marble, and I'll tell her to shut up and scrub harder. My husband, Chidi, barely looked at her. My children didn't even know her surname. She was just the girl, invincible, silent, obedient. Then came the coughing, then the weight loss, then the doctor's office in Ikoyi, where the air conditioner felt like a cold grave. Stage 4, he said. 6 months, maybe 8. The world went grey. My first thought wasn't about God. It was about my husband's family. Those vultures in the village. If I died, they'd swoop in, marry Chidi off to some young girl from their kindred, and my children would be pushed out of their own inheritance. I needed a puppet, someone I could control even from the grave. I looked at Chioma as she knelt to polish my shoes that evening. She was young, healthy, and terrified of me. Perfect. If I made her the second wife, she'd be grateful. She'd be a placeholder. She'd raise my children as my shadow, never as their mother. The training was the hardest part. I spent 3 months breaking her down to build her up. I mocked her bush accent until she spoke like a BBC presenter. I forced her into tight corsets and taught her which fork to use for salad. You are a village girl, Chioma, I'd hiss into her ear as she struggled to walk in 6-inch heels. Don't forget that. I am making you a queen, but you will always be my subject. I made her sign a document, a secret contract. In exchange for the marriage, she renounced any claim to Chidi's wealth. Everything will go to my children. She signed it with trembling hands, tears splashing on the paper. I felt like a mini god. I had cheated death by choosing its successor. The wedding was small, traditional. I sat there, the first wife, draped in gold, watching my husband slide a ring onto the hand that used to scrub my toilets. I felt a twisted sense of victory. 2 weeks later, I went for a follow-up scan at a different hospital. I wanted a second opinion for my treatment. The new doctor looked at my files, then at me, then laughed. Madam, there is no cancer. The lab results from the previous clinic were swapped. You have a minor stomach ulcer. You are as healthy as a horse. I ran home. I was shouting, laughing, ready to kick Chioma back to the boys' quarters. I burst into the master bedroom, ready to reclaim my throne, but the door was locked from the inside. When the door finally opened, it wasn't the trembling maid who stood there. It was a woman, Chioma was wearing my favorite silk robe. She didn't flinch. "I'm not leaving, Big Mommy," she said. Her voice was calm, deadly calm. She showed me her phone. For 10 years, she hadn't just been cleaning. She'd been recording the bruises I gave her, the insults, the videos of me bribing contractors, the voice notes of me planning to fake her consent for the inheritance contract. But the worst part, my husband walked in behind her. He didn't look at me with relief that I was alive. He looked at me with disgust. "She told me everything, Nneka. Every slap, every humiliation. You thought you were training a wife for me? No. You were showing me exactly why I don't want to be with you anymore." Now I sit at the dinner table in my own house, but I am the ghost. My children sit next to Chioma, listening to her tell stories of the stars. Chidi holds her hand under the table. They don't hate me, they pity me. And pity is a much slower poison than cancer. I learned too late. You cannot groom a person to be a tool and expect them not to grow a heart or a spine. I tried to play God with a girl I thought was dirt. But even dirt, if you pressed it hard enough, turns into a diamond. And diamonds, they are sharp enough to cut your throat.